is step 3 in the 14 steps found in The Art of Storytelling. This one's called At the Scene. You're going to see our 6 storytellers tell about what it looked like in their mind to be at the scene of this story. I've asked them to imagine like they are a field reporter and they're actually there, and some anchor is asking them questions about what's going on at the scene of their story. Watch them go through this, and then you go through it and imagine what's going on at this story. If at all possible, get someone else to ask you the questions. That way, it forces you to think about things that you hadn't thought of before. Watch our storytellers, do it yourself, and then we'll see you in step 4.
Well, let's see. Well, it's a mother crab that's pretty big, and her son, who's pretty small. They're on a kind of a gravelly beach somewhere.
Gravelly beach.
Yeah, it's. I think it's spring.
Springtime.
Yeah, but it's raining.
Raining.
Yeah,
it is raining.
It's early afternoon, but it's kind of drizzly and not. We wouldn't find it real pleasant, but these are crabs, so they kind of like the moisture.
Is it next to an ocean?
Yeah, I guess it must be.
Okay, is it a calm day, or are the waves pretty big?
Oh, you know what? I think the waves are kind of picking up. They're kind of crashing a bit.
Because it is raining.
Because it is raining, not heavily, but it's.
Yeah. What other animals are around? I think they're on their own. I think they've got a little cove there that nobody's in. There's no seagulls or.
There are. They're
seagulls.
They're flying up above. I can hear them now. I hadn't noticed them before.
Yeah. And, what does the son think about? What's his emotions when his mother tells him what to do?
Well, he's a good boy, and he loves his mother, and he's trying to respect her, and so he really is sincere. He wants to learn how to do this because he wants to please his mother.
Yeah, okay. And what is the mother thinking? Does she have any emotions when she's talking to her son about this?
I think that she's not thinking clearly, because if she had thought about what she was saying before she said it, she probably wouldn't have said it, because she would have realized that she doesn't walk straight forward.
Yeah.
So why should she expect her son to?
Are there any other brothers and sisters?
Yeah, but they're not there right now.
Oh, okay. It just happens to be the one. Right here.
He just happens to be the one.
What about how about other relatives, father or aunts and uncles, or?
Yeah, father's off fishing somewhere, I think.
Okay.
And the other kids are in the water.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of aunts and uncles, but they're not there at the moment.
What color are they?
I think they're kind of a grayish.
Kind of gray. Okay.
Yeah. Grayish color.
Okay, good. Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, as a whole bunch of mice, and they are having this meeting. In my picture of them, they are all from the same house, and probably all from the same brood. They're meeting back in underneath, back in the wall, and probably a place where they're safe. And so my picture is they're all kind of around in a kind of a big circle, and maybe one is actually moderating the meeting, and they're all coming up with ideas. I picture them all the same color. I would say kind of a grayish mouse. There's no rats there. It's just mice. They're all about the same age except for the real young ones. And then there's the old ones. Their whiskers would be a little bit grayer in my mind. I don't know about mice, but and then young ones maybe getting a little distracted every now and then. But no, they're all different ages.
Okay, and you said they're inside the wall. What does that look like in there?
Inner wall type of looking, with gray and nails kind of coming through every now and then, and some insulation kind of spotted around, maybe just kind of a really dusty, with little paths going back and forth.
Yeah. Any particular odors?
Yeah, there are some odors, but they don't seem to mind those odors too well, too much, because it's kind of what they're used to. But there'd be odor of maybe little droppings around, insulation, musty, dust type of odors. Yeah.
Okay. And is there any light in there?
Oh yes, there's light, but not a lot of light. It's really dark. But the mice are used to that. I would say just from some of the holes and maybe from some of the cracks coming up underneath the wall, which is actually sheetrock type of stuff. And so there is a little light, but enough for them.
All right. And that mice are having.
Well, the cat every now and then maybe walks by, and meows way off in the background enough to send fear through everyone's heart, which emphasizes the problem, The cat can kind of sense there's a whole lot of them right there in one location, and so maybe he comes by, and maybe even a paw that comes in every now and then, but not enough to actually get to them.
Great. And aside from fear, are there any other emotions that these mice are experiencing during this story?
Well, there's a normal type, there's the fear, but there's also courage as they try to muster up courage, like the more brave mice trying to muster up a little bit of courage. Of course, no one's really they're not really courageous enough to face the cat, but they're trying to. The older mice are trying to bring a little bit of wisdom into the situation, but really just kind of doubt and really what to do, despair more than anything else.
It's it's open meadow, springtime, lots of green grass, little flowers popping up everywhere, blue skies and clouds, and kind of just a light breeze, but not much. Big, massive bull out there just grazing. It's one of those, like a Texas longhorn. It's got those huge horns that come up, big, broad shoulders, just a massive, dominating bull. In the background, you can see other cows just kind of wandering back there, keeping their distance from him because he's the boss. Like Wisconsin, like those rolling type hills, just very beautiful to look at. It is springtime because there's a nice crisp breeze in the air, a little bit of wind, but not too much because there's this teeny little gnat coming in. And if there's too much wind, it's going to cause resistance for him. No, you know what? He doesn't have a name, and I think that's important to the story that he does not have a name because he's pretty full of himself. It's actually fairly quiet because one of the biggest sounds is that gnat just bzzz, coming in. So he's going to dominate the sounds. Kind of a quiet, but I can actually hear the bull kind of munching away on the grass, chewing that cud. And, over by the cows, some birds flitting around in that, but not much by the bull because there aren't any trees around him. He's out in the open. Oh yeah, that first whiff of chlorophyll from that fresh spring grass, I love that. And maybe some lavender from the different flowers that are growing, and just that smell of springtime, that fresh, crisp air that you smell. Yeah. And of course there's a bull, so yeah, a little bit of that too.
I see the story taking place in an old village, old wooden buildings, wooden sidewalks. I see the butchers standing outside, maybe to the side of the building. Got a white apron on, or at least it used to be white. It's got all kinds of red streaks, and he's got a grizzly beard, and he's a rather large man, big shoulders. I see dark hair and dark beard. The building itself is an older building. It probably from the 1900s or something. That's kind of the village that I see. The dog is a rather medium to a large sized dog, a kind of scraggly hair, probably not been fed for a while or had a good meal. He's looking rather pathetic and looking up like, you know, don't throw that away. I would like to have that for myself kind of look on his face, you know. Well, all I see in the village is kind of a dirt road, actually. I see posts that were holding up maybe the porches of the other buildings that are there. I'm thinking it's probably a lake. And there's a portion of that lake that has a kind of a wooden bridge that goes over it, so you don't have to go all the way around where this little inlet comes in. So the dog, of course, is taking that wooden bridge. I don't see any railings on that bridge. It's just an old rickety bridge. I see it in nice clear weather because of the reflection that he sees that when he's looking down. So it's a nice calm day. It's not any ripples or anything on the water. It's real calm. Well, right now his attitude has changed because now he has that juicy bone in his mouth, and he's just like, oh, I'm king of the world, and this is great, and I'm going to have myself a nice meal, and that's what I see him until, of course, he sees the reflection, and then his whole attitude sort of changes. His attitude then is one of, well, wait a minute, I thought I had something good, but there's something better out there that, you know, I should be having because, you know, I'm just so hungry. And he looks down at the other dog and sees that reflection, and now he's starting to think, maybe this isn't a good idea, but no, I just can't, I have to have that, you know. So he doesn't think, and he just reacts.
He's a skinny fella because he doesn't eat a lot, and he doesn't shave because that would cost him the cost of a razor or a barber, so he doesn't get his hair cut either. His coat is old and ragged, and it's got holes in it because he wouldn't want to get a tailor to make him a new one. And he's a little hunched over because he's been digging for years. I think it happened in 1812 in Europe. Germany.
Germany.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of misers in Germany. Could happen in Scotland.
Scotland.
Oh, it's just 2 rooms. And he's lucky to have 2 rooms. And it's, you know, a little lopsided, and the top of it is sagging a little bit. And he's patched it, though, because he likes to stay dry. So you can see patches on the roof. Windows are dirty. Wouldn't have a woman in it. There's an old sister, because he's an old miser, and she just lives down the road, and she has a nice little white house with flowers on the front window box, and she keeps her hair done fairly well, and she wears the latest fashions, and she's always on him, clean up your place. Oh, the thief, he's a slick one. Yeah. He's got dark hair, and it's slicked back, you know, like this, and he's got little beady eyes, and they're black, you know, brown, dark brown, black. And he's got a smile on his face just like this, you know, just like you, John. The passerby, he's a middle-aged fellow. He's always heard about the miser. You hardly ever see him, other than occasionally he's out digging in his yard. He's dressed pretty well. He has a long coat on to keep himself warm, and I think he may have a bag over his shoulder. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does, and it's full of chickens. You can almost hear him, can't you?
Yeah.
He's bringing them home from market. It's, I would say, late spring, because you wouldn't want to be digging in the winter when it's real cold. The thief was more observant and out because he stayed in the winter or in the pubs. So it would be late spring, and there had been a heavy dew on the grass, and so it's still a little wet, but the miser's out there fairly early to dig up his gold because he has a lot of counting to do. Clouds, a few clouds in the sky, but the sun's starting to poke through. And there's a tree, so there's shade, because a miser wouldn't want to be digging in the hot sun.
No.
Well, you got the chickens, and then of course the birds. You can hear them singing.
That's in the tree.
And then there's a road, and you can hear the clippity-clop of the horses as they're pulling the carts in and out of town to go to market and to return home.
You can't smell.
You can smell manure and fresh turned dirt. Good smell there.
Well, I can picture the farmer because my father was a farmer, so I picture him. So I picture him as an older man, but also still strong. My father was strong, could throw a hay bale up onto a hay wagon when he was in his 70s and throw it several stacks high. And so I picture that. And I also saw my father in his deathbed, so that picture comes to me very easily. There were 2 sons. Well, they haven't taken over the farm yet, so they're still following orders from the father. He must not think that they're very responsible. They haven't proven themselves to be responsible yet.
Tall, short.
One blonde, one brunette. Again, I have 2 brothers, so
Sure,
it's
okay.
easy to imagine things that are already in your memory.
That's right.
I imagine it to be a vineyard, although I don't know a lot about a vineyard, but that's what comes to my mind.
Sure.
I guess somehow I picture it in a European setting just because I picture it maybe being a little bit older and, where they would be working the land by hand rather than with tractors and things like that.
Okay.
Well, I'm not real good at like how big acres are, things like that, but I would think it would be less than 100 acres.
Okay. Servants, maybe?
Well, I guess I would think that because of their age, that the sons might have their own wives and maybe some children.
Okay.
Well, I imagine they might grow some subsistence, crops they might eat themselves, or if they have some cattle, maybe something to feed the cattle or something like that. Maybe just like milk cows, maybe some dogs, maybe some fowl that would lay some eggs.
Yeah.
I imagine they were looking for some kind of a container, a box, a chest of some kind, perhaps a bag. I think they probably imagined coins, money that had been set aside for the future. Well, I think they have genuine sorrow at their father's death. And I think that they were thinking that if they worked hard, they could find this treasure. I don't think they found any joy in the fact that their father died, but they thought, if we keep looking for this treasure, then maybe we won't have to work so hard. But that was obviously what made them work hard.
Thank you.